For more on the mood in the Sudanese capital, we can cross now to Naba Mohiedeen. Thanks for talking to us this evening, Naba. Tell us a little bit more about the tensions today, in particular outside the UN mission.
Thanks, James. Yes, some of the groups are probably or likely it's belonging to the former regime gathered around the UN headquarters, refusing the interference of, they said it's interference of the UNITAMs or the political mission in Sudan. They said the dialogue should be a Sudanese dialogue, and the solution should be also Sudanese solution, saying that the UNITAMs and the African Union, the IGAD tripartite mechanism, is interfering in the political scene, which is the majority of Sudanese people think this is incorrect or inaccurate, because after long months of a deadlock, the UNITAMs and African Union and IGAD are trying to make a breakthrough in the political scene. Everybody knows that the Sudanese are putting great hopes on the solutions, or at least in the initiative by the UNITAMs and African Union. So yes, it's one of the voices in the capital, the protest against the UNITAMs, but the voice of other people who want a solution, who want the deadlock to end soon, and who want the resumption of the international aid for Sudan to be done very soon. As we know that there is a deadline.
Tell us a little bit about the release of prisoners, because that is one area where there has been movement in the past week. Quite a number of prisoners were released in Port Sudan and in Khartoum, but many, many more remain in custody. What do we know about the conditions in which they're being held, and to what extent might those prisoner releases calm the anger of the protest movement?
Yes, actually, some of the prisoners were released, but the prisoners are 40, the political prisoners, while some of them are still in detention, facing really serious accusations like the killing of the police officer on January 17th. 4 of the protesters, some of them are only 17 and 18 years old, so some of them are facing undefined future. People are so angry. They think lifting of the state of emergency is a good sign, or could represent a goodwill by the military rulers.
Just tell us about, because that's another thing, just to make that clear for our viewers, this a state of emergency that was in place for quite a while was lifted earlier this week. So what does that change, actually? What's the difference between the state of emergency and no state of emergency for day-to-day life?
Actually, we cannot predict. It's really very soon to predict what the changes will be, because it's very reliant on the reaction by the military rulers. We are waiting for mass demonstrations on June the 3rd, the anniversary of the massacre, and other demonstrations against the talks itself. So if the repression continue against the pro-democracy groups, and if the violence continue and the crackdown, we think, and everybody thinks, that nothing will change. But for now, there is some sense of confidence between military rulers and civilians that they can sit again on a table. But it depends on the following days and weeks.
OK, so tensions remaining high in Khartoum, and we'll have to wait and see how that goes, whether the protest movement begins to calm down a bit, or indeed intensifies or stays at the same level after 7 months of military rule and protests as a result of that. Thank you so much for that update from Khartoum, Naba Mohiedeen.